Hello, it is April 11th, and I just completed Tortilla Flat by John Steinbeck, and my phone's ringing. Perfect. Let me guess, unavailable. Yeah, I get that all day long. It's so wonderful. Unavailable. They gave up after two rings only, which is good. Anyway, back to the book review. I had read previously Of Mice and Men and The Grapes of Wrath, which are both outstanding, and I bought this strictly based on the fact that it's a Steinbeck, and I have Cup of Gold and East of Eden in the wings waiting to be read, but I grabbed this one at random. So this is about paisanos, which are Mexican, Indian, American Indian, Mexican combo heritage in California, living in the Monterey area. And it's about friendship and a building referred to as Tortilla Flat, where they lived and drank a lot of wine and partied and hung around with a lot of women. And at the beginning of the book, about halfway through, I guess, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, these guys are like Beavis and Butthead, bunch of morons. And I wasn't really impressed with them. And I kind of checked it online a little bit. It said that Steinbeck regretted writing this book because a lot of people thought that the people were basically losers that were in the book. But come to find out that he wrote this based on the King Arthurian legends, which we've all kind of seen on movies and things, but probably next to no one has actually read the Arthurian legends unless they're historians or maybe in a literature program. Now, Steinbeck went to Stanford University, so he probably read some deep stuff. But after I got close to being finished with this, I thought, well, I don't know anything about Arthurian legends other than what I've seen in movies. So I purchased La Morte d'Arthur, which is King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table by Sir Thomas Malory. Now, there's other books about the legends of King Arthur, but this one apparently is the gold standard, and it's quite old. This is a reprint, obviously. It's leather bound, but quite old. I don't remember if it's the 14th century or the 13th century, somewhere around there. Anyway, I'll be reading that in the future in my massive pile of books that I have yet to read. But back to this one, I didn't look up how it paralleled the story until after I got done. And the reason I did that is because I did not want to taint my impression of the book. So initially, like I said, for the first half, I thought, what a bunch of losers. All they do is sit around and drink gallons of wine all day. But it really set up a framework for a surprise, because by the end, you really started to feel something for these people. At least I did. Other people apparently felt like the ending of the book was a little bit maybe too simple and disingenuous. It is fiction after all, but I felt bad for the characters and what was happening to them, especially Danny. And he did a good job. I mean, there's no doubt that Steinbeck is a great author, and he's got masterful skills. He's not with us anymore, but he had masterful skills. And this is another example of it, because by the end, my impression was totally changed. I thought, I'm going to hate this book. And the last 1/3 of it, I was like, wow, this really got interesting and like good. Now, it's not a Grapes of Wrath good. It's not Of Mice and Men good, but it's good. And I enjoyed reading it, especially the end. I could see somebody getting into this and giving up on it. And I will tell you, don't give up on it. So I'm going to give you the breakdown. Now, if you don't want to hear how this book parallels Arthurian legend, then cut off right here. But I'm going to give you just a very brief summary that I found online about how it parallels the Knights of the Round Table. So it says the characters parallel the Arthurian legend. Danny serving as the king. His house is Camelot, and his friends are the Knights of the Round Table. I don't know if I want to tell you this part. Probably not. It's probably too deep. So Danny's King Arthur. His house is Camelot. The Paisanos are the Knights of the Round Table. Themes of friendship and royalty, although they're not really royal per se. Portrayal of the unconventional. So my guess is the legends are quite strange that are in the King Arthur book. And mystical and idealized elements. Yeah, they felt like they were living in a fantasy more than real life because they'd had a taste of what real life was, and it was drastically nicer where they were living as a group because they didn't have to worry about resources, I guess, per se, as much. I wouldn't say it's one you're going to maybe shed a tear at the end, but I did get maybe a little bit on the way there. I enjoyed it. It was good. I'd say if you had to do like a point system where, Grapes of Wrath and Mice and Men are 5s, then this is like a 4 or a 3.5, 3.75, something like that. It's good. It's not outstanding. But if you're reading a whole bunch of Steinbeck, you got to include this. Now, Steinbeck has a lot of nonfiction stuff, and a lot of times nonfiction is kind of droll and not as impressive as the fiction stuff because they have to paint, a situation and an environment rather than just writing what they see. And a lot of things that they see, other people have seen in their lifetime too, if you've traveled at all or anything like that. So I don't know how many of the nonfiction I'll hit, but like I say, I've got East of Eden and I've got Cup of Gold, and I definitely want to read Cannery Row. Those are the standouts. But I've got an endless stack of books. So next up, I'm going to be doing another Stoic philosopher book, and I forgot his name, so that'll be in the review later. I'm on my 9th, I believe, Wizard of Oz book. Yeah, I'm on that one already. And I have another one that I just added to the stack out there. So it might be a few days before another book review, but yeah, I liked this one. It's good.